welcome back to the Veterans Radio Show. And I hope you're having a wonderful day today. We are getting ready for the 4th of July here, and I'm sure you are too. Today we have a very special show, and you're going to meet our Executive Director of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Shelly Harrison, and I'm the co-director for the National Veterans Chamber for the Orange County and Inland Empire chapters. And I'm also the CEO of Luminary Leaders, which is my company. On our Veterans Radio Show, we talk with heroes in action. And today we're going to talk to, in my opinion, a hero, and I'm sure a lot of other people think he's a hero too, for the work that he does for our veterans and leading our team at the National Veterans Radio Show and the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We want to thank our back team in the back we have Laura Torres, who is kind of behind the scenes and helps us with arranging all the shows. We have Jimmy Odong, who is our producer and the magician behind all the technical part of the show. And we want to thank also Dolly Rivera, who's one of our co-host here on the National Veterans Radio Show. And we also want to thank our live audience and podcast listeners. We appreciate you and all your service. Without you, we would not have the support of our listenership. So we want to thank you. So hit that subscribe button, and you're going to have a fun show today. You're going to hear about what's happening in the chamber. And I want to thank our sponsors, Sabio, which is they actually do HTML coding, and they help to build or teach how to build websites, games, and apps. And we're going to have Joe share a little bit more when he comes on here in a second. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Joseph Molina, our Executive Director of the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So welcome, Joe.
Well, thank you, Shelly. And those are very kind words. I really appreciate it. And you talk about the team, and there's so many people behind the scenes of the National Veterans Chamber that the people don't know about, that rely on the things that our team does to get the programs and projects up and running. So I'm very grateful and very thankful for everyone who participates in whether it's our show, our newsletters, our social media. And it's just, when we put this on a list of people, it's just so many people behind the scenes that really deserve all the honors. I mean, we get to be on the show, so people get to see who we are and that kind of thing. But a lot of them, they don't. They post on social media. They work. Sometimes I get emails at 3:00 in the morning. Someone working on a post and things like that. So it is a really a community effort, and I just wanted to thank everyone who's supporting us, and also our sponsors. I mean, we have a lot of friends and sponsors and partners that that make all this possible. And like you were talking about Savio, and Savio is an extremely strong supporter of the chamber. Yeah, Savio does. They do the coding program, and they have a special program for veterans, and so we collaborate with them. But they have this really cool kind of twist on the program, because people can take a class. They don't have to pay anything. They take the whole course, and they pay zero, and they only pay after they graduate, after they get a job, then they pay back.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
That is a great program. I mean, anybody, and I know that they help, to teach how to build a website, how to build games and apps. So something like that, and not having to pay for it, until after you are employed. I mean, that's a great opportunity for people that have that kind of interest. So way to go, Sabio, who's a strong supporter of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and then they're also sponsoring us going to the military bases. So they're also coming alongside with us to go to the military bases to talk about their programs and our programs. So it's a great partnership, great sponsorship. But we have a great sponsors. I mean, Savio is one of them, but we have others. I mean, Dave is a great sponsor, and we'll be doing a golf tournament coming up. and
Roche,
Michael from Florida, and it
yes.
just
Yeah.
so many. We have a great universities are really strong supporters of the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Excelsior College, Minnesota State, and Cal Poly Pomona. I mean, Cal State San Marcos. Just a lot of schools, a lot of support that we get from because they all have veterans within their institution, and they always want to find ways that how can we support them and how they
Mm-hmm.
can support us. So
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and we have a lot of partnerships too that we've created. I know Small Business Majority, who we will be having Jocelyn on the show, I believe, in September. So we want to give
That's
a
right.
shout out to Jocelyn.
That's right.
Great partnership, and they are national. So they help small businesses, and they probably have about 100,000 businesses,
Hmm.
within their organization. And so you'll want to tune in, our audience will want them to tune in to hear what Jocelyn has to say and how she can help small businesses, including, veterans who own their own companies too. And another thing I want to mention is, while we're on the topic of business,
Hmm.
we have something that we'll be launching, Joe, right, for our membership directory.
Oh,
You want to
that's
talk
right.
about that?
That's right. Yes. And this was,
Yeah.
this has been a request. Dave mentioned this, and other people have mentioned it. It's like we want to know because the resources are out there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and they're all within Google. You can just Google something and you have it. But the trick is to know who to contact and
Mm-hmm.
where to find them in one particular place. I mean, again, you can just go to online and just type whatever, and then you get results. But how do you? Then it takes that's the zero step,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like cold calling. Nobody wants to do that, and then
Yeah.
so
That's that
it,
500-pound phone that people don't like to pick up
exactly,
and do
exactly.
sales calls. Yeah.
Exactly. But the directory that we are developing, and with your help also, Shelly, and is what it does is brings together all the organizations, whether nonprofits or for profits or professionals
Mhm.
who want to be listed so within the environment of the chamber, who want to be
Mhm.
listed, and also there is no mandatory of anything. So if they want to be listed, they can also have be added to the map. So when people want to ask, they say I'm in Florida, and they want to go to Sirius. Says I need I don't know, I need a plumber, and so then
Yeah.
that comes out on their radar. So that brings business to them. So the
Mhm.
director is a great way to have people connected, and then also have the access when people are looking for resources in one place. So and
Right, right. And to
so
have their business featured too, and be supportive of the chamber and just where like you pointed out, if they're in Florida, and they need a plumber, they can find one, and there's other, you know, businesses and organizations that are scattered just all over the country.
right, correct, and this is because our why, our motivation is to bring businesses, veterans and non-veterans, uh, to connect, and
Hmm.
also to serve each other. Because a plumber, yeah, a plumber does a service to a customer, but the plumber also needs accounting services. They also may need legal
Right.
services. They also may need incorporating services. They also may need supplies. So all those things that are not just the individual doing business, but it's other
Hmm.
auxiliary services that they want. We want to make that connection through that. Now, this is
Yeah.
it's a big uh, um, endeavor. It's a big venture, but we're
Hmm.
starting small, but are small for us. I mean, we have, over 100 that we started with. but we have
Yeah.
a few thousand that we want to be included in that. But the beauty of it, Shelly, is that we want also have the directory with, as members join or people join in directory, they'll be able to update their profiles. So let's
Mm.
say luminary leaders is in Riverside, but they decide to move to Palos Verdes. You got a Palos Verdes location now. So you're going to, so that you can have access um, to updating your profile and keep your stuff current. So that's
Yeah.
something that we want to do now.
That's a
And
great feature.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
and
a
then
great
the
feature.
the other part is that businesses to create something like this, and I was looking because we wanted to do that for us, but the cost was prohibited. It was
Mhm.
it was really high cost to do that. And like I don't want people to pay so much, so I want to
Yeah.
make it available in a way that is reasonable, is
Right.
low
And
cost,
affordable. Sure.
affordable. Yeah, not low cost, but
Affordable.
affordable. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no free lunch. We all know that.
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
we'll know.
yeah, well, and it ties these businesses to our community that's growing and growing and growing. We do a wonderful job on social media, and I think, we can even look at ways to really engage those members even on social media, as advertising or, so many
Right.
things come to mind that we can help support them with.
Absolutely. And now that we have the incubator for military spouses, we do the social media.
Mhm.
We have clients that are getting the service from our military spouses. So having that connectivity, that action, that that flow of resources, that's
Mhm.
very rewarding for us.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree. And I know we have a lot of different programs that are available that we've created
Mhm.
that have been in place. When you think of those programs, how does that make you feel knowing that we're helping our veterans and our communities? I mean, what is that? What is that
Well,
like for you?
well, it's a great question, Shirley, because it goes back to the beginning,
Mhm.
why we created a chamber. And we wanted to create an organization, a chamber that was in collaboration always,
Yeah.
developing in partnerships always, and
Mhm.
sharing wealth always. So
Yeah.
everything we do that brings funding to the chamber, brings programs, anything like that. We share the wealth that we receive with others. So
That's
we love,
right. And I
right?
see it in action too. Yeah.
Yes. So we
I
want to
really do.
make sure that we support veterans and non-veterans. I mean, what
Yeah.
as a chamber, as a veterans chamber, my point or our mission is to, as veterans, support communities, not
Mhm.
community support veterans. I don't have that mindset. My mindset is veterans supporting communities. That's really what
Mhm.
that's what we do. So that's
Oh,
how we want.
absolutely.
That's how we work it. So and
Yeah.
also supporting the veterans who need help. That's of course, and we have
Mhm.
programs for that. We have programs that in that we got from family support, housing. I have this really cool program that I want to share with you in a minute or so. It's
Yeah.
rolling out. It's not official yet, but I want to share it with you
Oh.
and the audience.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it.
Okay. So we started the Housing for Heroes program about 2 years ago.
Right.
And due to COVID and COVID and things happen, but still moving forward. We have a list now of about 100 agents and brokers and lenders who are participating with us across the nation that are
Mm,
supporting veterans. And so, well,
yeah.
this is great. And but housing has become so expensive that even with the VA,
Hmm.
it becomes out of reach for many people. I mean, we're
Yeah.
looking at the numbers with the accountants, and someone to actually buy a home at least in California or
California.
in Southern California, San Francisco down, I guess. The um, You really need to have two very strong paychecks. And so but when
Yeah.
when you have people who are veterans, but as you know, in the military, nobody makes boogie bucks in the military. We get paid. Actually, I didn't. We didn't know we got paid, but we get paid. Very small amounts. So it's difficult for someone to actually purchase a home. So
Yeah.
keep thinking. So we did a 2.0 version of the Housing for Heroes. So what
Hmm.
we do now, we created in Kelly's helping us, as you know, Kelly Backland.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so she's our legal team. So what we're
Yeah.
doing now is bringing uh, investors, if you will,
Hmm.
investors who come in and uh, participate on the purchase of a home or a project.
Oh.
So they come in and they participate on helping someone buy a duplex or buy a farm or buy something like that. As
Hmm.
investors, they come in and share. It's not a loan. They come in and share their equity based on the property, and
Hmm.
then and so that way there's no out of pocket from the homeowner,
Yeah.
and then if the property gains value, then everyone wins. And if the
Huh.
property doesn't make any value, but a risk is a risk. And those are the things that Kelly is working us with,
My
you know,
goodness.
all the details. But
Right. So
imagine
when are we looking at having that launch?
we were thinking September,
September.
September, and
Okay.
definitely Veterans Day will be our official hard launch uh,
Oh,
during our 11
great
11
day.
11. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
imagine this. Imagine someone coming in to purchase a home that is valued at $300,000. With the
Hmm.
investors, and the payment is, let's say, $5,000 a month, just to say
Hmm.
numbers. So when the investors come in, the group comes in to support that purchase, then the payment that was $3,000 a month drops at least $1,000. So it
Mm.
makes for the homeowner to have the ability to maintain the payments, that the payments become
Yeah.
reasonable for the veteran
Hmm.
or the family to afford, because that's
Right.
affordability. That's the challenge, and so and
It sure is. Yeah.
so that affordable, and then that also ensures that investors are going to have return on investment at the end, because
Mm.
then you're going to have people who are going to making the payment because they can afford it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen people buy homes, and the joke was that they were eating top ramen for months because everything was going to
Oh
pay the
gosh.
mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not a way to live. And there's
Yeah.
ways that we can do this. And this is one of the programs, and that's what we do, as you know,
Hmm.
developing these programs that make life better, easier, higher quality of life for veterans,
Hmm.
military families, and of course, communities. Like I said,
Sure.
we want veterans, we support communities. So everyone who joins the chamber, they always ask me, well, why should I join? Well, you join because you want to do something with the community.
That's right. That's
What do
right.
you get? I said, what do I get? You get the opportunity to serve,
Yeah. They
like we all
do.
do. So, and
That's right.
people love that because people want to support. So I think I took over all the conversation, Shelly,
No,
but
that's good
thank you.
information, and we're excited to see that program launch. And like you said, there are so many things that we could do within the chamber. And another thing that I wanted to kind of mention, and I know we have a few minutes left, we have our professionals in action, which on a show like this we can actually feature a business. So on professionals in action, plus they have. Let's talk about the magazine that you've partnered with. That is and I'll let you take that thunder, but the magazine that has over 3 million
Oh my
uh,
gosh, yes.
downloads.
Yes, been working um, working with a magazine. It's called the Homeland
Hmm.
Magazine, and also the San Diego Veterans Magazine. And we have a great partnership that really awesome. Mike, who is the editor of the magazine, works really well with us. He has a great eye for graphics,
Mm.
because I
It's a
don't.
beautiful magazine too,
It's a
very
beautiful
informative and
magazine. Yes.
yeah.
And we share that magazine, or the articles, through, usually through LinkedIn, when people can
Hmm.
read that. But what we did is, they allow us to do is to actually purchase or access or have a page, that we can then share that with our members. So the
Hmm.
members can, whether are professionals or business owners, can purchase a very low cost, space on that magazine and reach over 3 million people.
Which is
And that,
incredible.
it's
Yeah.
incredible. It's amazing. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
and
amazing.
it's digital, so, even expanding online, I mean, there could be millions
Oh my
of,
gosh, yes. And
people that'll have eyes on that, and
yeah,
it's a very appealing
yeah,
magazine
it,
because it's filled with great articles and
yes.
information and things that are, for the general public as well as our veterans.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, Kelly also is one of the writers on the magazine, so she
Mhm.
does the legal section, and she's awesome. I mean, she's
Yeah.
the best attorney I know when it comes to business law.
Right, and
Things,
give Kelly's last name so we know who you're talking about.
oh, Kelly Backlat,
Okay.
Kelly Backlat, yes,
Yeah, so we'll
and
make
she's,
sure to tag her on this show so she knows.
yeah,
And that
perfect,
way, if anybody's interested in learning more, they can reach out to Kelly, they can
yes.
reach out to us.
And yes,
Absolutely.
and she'll be with the show in July, I believe it's 17, the third Friday.
Hmm.
She'll be, so she'll be interviewed also, and it's always fun. But yes, and
Yeah.
then, I mean, one of the things that we have, and I'll close with this, that we have done is create different platforms, put together
Hmm.
different platforms like the radio show, the magazine, the newsletter, the social media, platforms, uh,
Yeah.
to help businesses increase visibility. We have because of the, a lot of connectivity that we have through the
Hmm.
platforms, um, people can actually request, um, have, traffic be driven to their websites. So if someone needs
Yeah.
visibility on their websites, as long as they connect with the chamber, then we redirect traffic to their website. And our traffic
Hmm.
comes from all over the world. We're not restricted
Oh,
to the U.S.
absolutely.
It comes from all over the world. So traffic comes from everywhere, primarily from the U.S., but it also comes from everywhere. So businesses who see the value in that, we support them that way as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's developing programs and projects, and ways for, veterans and businesses to connect and to share what they have to offer, and especially in business. One thing that we strongly feel about this, business is business, and we do
Hmm.
business, and then and again, there's no free ride. And we all pay, even nonprofits. When I go to the gas station, they charge me $10 per gallon. As a nonprofit, they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't even
Yeah.
care that I'm a veteran. They just charge me. So they're like,
Yeah.
okay, so there's no free ride. I get that.
Hmm.
But what I don't get is for businesses to, bully customers. I don't get that.
Mm.
So I don't get,
Yeah.
when people charge veterans for student loans, or anybody for student loans, and then they get stuck on those. I don't get that. I don't get those
Mm.
companies who finance people at 30%, 40%. I don't get
Mm.
that. And so we don't support those type of companies ever,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Well, and we
Oh,
want
oh,
them to be, reliable, credible, heart-centered, and even the partners, that we are collaborating with.
oh,
We have so
absolutely.
many wonderful collaborative partnerships with a lot of different organizations, companies, people. I want to give
Yeah.
a shout out to Connie King, who has the
Oh my
Black
gosh, yes,
American
Connie, yes,
Directory. Yeah, she
yes,
did a beautiful spread on
yes,
Joe.
yes.
That was a beautiful article that was in the last magazine, I think in May. It was in
Well,
May.
and you're talking about Connie, and now we're working with her group, her directory,
Hmm.
on the California grant that we're
Yeah,
helping.
it's
That's
amazing.
another program that we have, that
Mhm.
we pay. So employees receive training to train their employees for free. We pay
Mm-hmm.
for it. And so that's something that Connie is helping us get employers, get trainers. So
Yeah.
yes, again, sharing the wealth. Whatever we have, we want to
Yeah.
share. And
That's
that's
right. And one last shout out, because you brought this resource to us and it has been phenomenal. And it kind of ties into the directory,
Mhm.
the Veterans Directory Wing, which is they
Oh yes.
provide virtual assistance. I mean, on any level, they have general uh, virtual assistants, they have specialty general assistants or virtual assistants, excuse me, and social media. I mean, the list goes on. They help companies all over the world. And these people are, we want to give a shout out to our virtual assistant, Shem, who's done some extraordinary work for us.
Yes.
And the team at Wing, we just really want to thank you for your partnership, because we know that, we have people that come to us, to the chamber, asking for virtual assistant
Mhm.
types of referrals. So we want to make sure that's available. They're very affordable. You could do part-time, full-time, and it's just, very streamlined and a professional company that I really love working with.
Yes. Totally. Absolutely. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Shelly, for this opportunity to share all the things that we're doing as we moving forward with the chamber. And again, I want to thank everyone in the team, the ones that on the radio team, on the newsletters team, on the virtual sales. I mean, everyone who's working and supporting the chamber. I'm very, very grateful and thankful
yeah,
of everyone's participation, collaboration, and partnerships that we have. And we
yeah,
just we just want to continue doing what we're doing, again, from veterans supporting our nation. That's really what we're about.
absolutely. And we want to thank our audience for tuning in today. We had our executive director of the National Veterans Chamber on with us today, and what a treat. I know that he has a little bit of a cold, so we're happy that he's here. Um, and we want to
You
wish
can tell,
everyone,
right?
yeah, just a little bit. But we want you to be healthy and safe over the weekend. So to all of you out there, happy 4th of July. Celebrate safely with your families. Enjoy those barbecues and make it a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining, and
And
subscribe to our
be,
YouTube channel.
before you go, Shelley, and
Yes.
I know we have Jane waiting on the lobby. So we want
Oh,
to bring Jane whenever Jimmy is ready, and then
okay.
I'll let you guys talk. But I just wanted to say real quick hi to Jane for making it today. So whenever you're ready, Jane, come and join us. And there you
All
go.
right. Hi, Jane. How are you? Oh, we can hear you.
You're muted.
Hi,
There you
folks.
are.
Sorry about that. What a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome. We're glad that you made it here, and we see your smiling face. And where are you coming to us from?
I am coming to you from a little area called the town of Manitowoc in Wisconsin.
Is in Wisconsin.
Yes,
Very
it's about
nice.
35 minutes, 45 minutes from Lambeau Field, right on Lake.
Oh, oh my goodness. Wow. So are you a football fan?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure. And I just want to kind of mention, so Jane, who just joined us, Jane Babcock, she is a retired, formerly nationally accredited uh, county veteran service officer and sergeant first class, U.S. Army and Army Reserve. And as a CVSO, she helped over 1,000 veterans and widows understand, apply for, and obtain their VA benefits. Today, we are going to talk with her a little bit and find out about what Jane's doing, and I know she's a volunteer. So again, welcome, Jane, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what excites you about being on the show with us today.
Well, as far as myself goes, I am retired both from the military and as a county veteran service officer. And I continue to try and serve my family, the military, the veterans, and their spouses
Yeah.
by educating them about the VA benefits. And so this opportunity for me today is to reach out and touch a lot more of that family.
Oh, well, and we want to thank you for your service too and your family and just knowing that, that you were in the Army. How many years did you serve, Jane?
21 and a half.
Oh my
And
goodness,
it
that's
was
phenomenal.
really foolish on my part, training accident, getting ready to go over to Afghanistan.
Oh,
And they pretty much just went, here, sign here. You've got your 20, you're good to go. You're in the retired reserves now. No mention of VA, no mention of med board or anything like that. And yet I was standing in front of them pretty much stoned on Vicodin.
oh my
And the
goodness.
neurosurgeon cut my throat open and fixed my neck and put some screws and whatnot in there.
Oh my goodness.
Was never evaluated, never even talked about VA benefits. And that's what drives me to make sure that our veterans know what's out there.
Have access. Yeah. So that's your why. And, I love the work that you were doing. And you, now, do you still volunteer? I wasn't sure about that. I didn't get a chance to ask you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
do.
Anybody can find me on LinkedIn. And I'm happy to send them the basic VA 101 list of links to different areas that will teach them about their benefits, whether it's presumptive illnesses, survivor widow benefits, um, you know, the brochures on home loan and things like that, which list the telephone numbers to call and get more information, or they can reach out to me and we'll do a one-on-one phone call or a group class if they have a group assisted living administrators. I've done a couple of those corporate groups to teach them so that they know how to offer pension. And most people, in 11 and a half years as a CVSO, one person had ever heard of the wartime veteran VA pension.
My gosh. That, and just to know that you had your own personal story that really led you to, really embrace helping veterans with VA benefits, because I hear it all the time. There are a lot of veterans that transition into civilian life and they're having challenges. They don't know how to really get to those resources, or maybe they don't know about them.
Yep. It's only been about 10 years that the military has done a transition program. Well, if you're like me and transitioned in 04, there wasn't anything. And if you're Reserve and National Guard, those classes are often done. Now they're done later, but at that time, they would have been done as you were coming back from a deployment. But if your injuries progressed at your unit after your deployment, you don't know where to start.
My goodness. So when you look at, the work that you were doing, how would you say or help veterans today to make them aware of how to get started? They're just coming back from deployment. They're, now they're coming back into civilian life. What should they do first and foremost?
First and foremost, every veteran, any veteran, no matter when they served, call your county, see if they have a county veterans office. Call your state, see if they have a state office, or get a hold of those local groups like the VFW, American Legion and such. Because they have people that are trained on benefits.
Those are great resources.
Yeah, they are literally trained and go to training every year.
Gosh.
Fill out the forms, what evidence is needed, what financial information is needed to apply for the pension. It's a supplemental income program so that our Korean War veteran who may have become widowed this year is all of a sudden going to live on one Social Security check. So the average Social Security check is actually below the HUD poverty level.
Oh my gosh. And that's such a sad, when you think about it, a widow and, here her income has just her or his income has depleted so much. So these resources for the pensions and other things that are out there, where would they, aside from, the county and the state, availability where they can go on websites, they can make some phone calls. What is some swift action that they can take and just make sure that they're on track to really start the process of making sure that they have these VA benefits?
Well, first and foremost, you have to have the knowledge that that program or benefit is even there.
Yeah.
So even if you don't think at this point, say you're 62 years old and working and have insurance and all this other kind of stuff, and you're 4 hours from a VA clinic, you still have that option of getting community care or
Mm-hmm.
doing one annual physical with the VA healthcare system. So
Yeah.
foot in the door as far as the healthcare goes.
Yeah.
Talk to them about getting those $6,000 hearing aids for $100. That's what the average cost, if you pay copays, is in the VA.
My
So there's no
goodness.
reason for hearing loss. If it happens to be service connected, that veteran service officer is going to help you file, and then they're free.
My gosh. Yeah. And I think, having you on the show, I'm glad that we were able to, finally bring you on. And I know that you are retired. So what are you doing now, Jane? How are you enjoying your retirement?
Well, if it hadn't been for COVID, we'd be doing a lot more traveling.
Oh,
But
no
I'm very
doubt.
fortunate. All three of our kids live in the city of Manitowoc, which really isn't that big. And we live out here in the country, and our
Yeah.
grandchildren are here. So we have,
Oh, very nice.
and 5 years ago, we were starting to think about retirement. We bought our house out in the country. So we're in the town of Manitowoc.
Yeah.
But I like gardening and things of that nature. But I
Sure.
spend a lot of time talking with veterans and children of veterans, especially our older veterans. That's my affinity.
Oh,
Our 65 and older, our Vietnam and older.
yeah.
They're not likely to be out here listening to this.
Hmm.
They're not likely to be, you know, out searching on the web, on the VA website.
Sure. Or let's hope that a family member or maybe, a colleague or someone is listening and hearing, what you have to share. And maybe that's how they'll find out, how to take that action and really get the support and the VA benefits that they're entitled to.
Yes,
Yeah.
more and more the first contact is coming from the next generation or the neighbor or someone else that's maybe younger. And
Yeah.
so they're calling up and saying, hey, my father served during this time and he's passed, but my mother is struggling financially.
Right.
Well, your mother
Right.
easily qualify for the pension program.
Yes, and I know my mother-in-law. So my father-in-law died a few years ago, but he served, and she, her family made sure that she, did what she needed to do so that it helps her to continue. And she's 91, so she's doing well and lives in Springfield, Missouri. But yeah, it's important for families to know about what the VA benefits are, and people like you that are out there really helping and making people aware of the services and what's available and how to go about doing it, and be firm about making sure that they have the right information. We're about at the end of our show, Jane, and I want you, if there's something that you'd like to share, that one last thing that you'd like to share before we depart, what would you like to say?
One of the biggest things that most veterans and almost all spouses do not know about is the 7 pages of presumptive conditions.
Mm,
I
okay.
have never met a veteran that said yes to this question. Do you know that ALS is a presumptive for all who served in the military?
Oh,
For every 3
interesting.
people that get ALS, generally
Mm-hmm.
speaking, 2 of them are veterans. And since the VA can't determine which ones would have genetically or otherwise gotten it,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the exposures to various chemicals and things in service that may have triggered it,
Goodness. Yeah.
it's automatically assumed that it was caused by service. And so if a
Mm,
veteran or their widow walks in and says, my spouse died of ALS, or I've just been diagnosed with ALS, they
gosh.
they will presume it's service connected. There are 9
Mm,
cancers for our newest group of veterans from Desert Storm on, 38 cancers for Agent Orange exposed veterans
Yes.
from Vietnam, Thailand, and the DMZ of Korea, and a whole bunch of other diseases, neurological problems.
My goodness.
Camp Lejeune had over 30 years of toxic water. So that case, not only is the veteran entitled to health care, but so is the family and the
The
children.
families, yes,
Children that were-
absolutely. So mention that again, because, just so we can make sure people know about that. Mention the document again.
the care as far as Camp Lejeune goes.
No, the document that you said that they don't sometimes know about, those 7 pages.
Yes, that comes directly out of the Code of Federal Regulation. And if they contact me on LinkedIn, I will send them a copy of all those. It's an attachment.
That's
I have a
fantastic.
pension calculator where you can put in the income and the medical expenses and get an approximation to show you whether or not you're A, eligible, and B, how much approximately you would receive each month.
Very
And then
nice.
also links to all the VA tools, the Agent Orange information, all that stuff.
Oh
So
my
I
goodness.
share it all the time. And
Yeah.
if they have a group that wants a class, set up a platform like this, and I will be more than happy to do a Q&A.
Well, you are very knowledgeable, and we appreciate you being here. And I wish we had more time, Jane. But I want to thank you for being on the show today. And folks that have, maybe watching the replay or you're still with us, make sure you connect with Jane on LinkedIn. And like she said, she has resources that she wants to make available for you. Again, thank you, Jane, for being on the show. And we wish you well in your retirement, and we hope you can travel, shortly and get to a few destinations. To Joe, thank you again for being on the show. Our executive director, Joseph Molina, joined us earlier. And we want to thank you, our audience, for tuning in, for subscribing and watching our shows. We will catch you next time. Happy 4th of July, and we will see you soon.